All right, so this is lesson 2. This is going to be the last exponent rule that you're going to need. So this lesson is going to be pretty quick, but you'll get it pretty easy. Now, this is the one that I got mixed up when we were talking about fractions. I was ahead of us, so I started getting everything mixed up on the other lesson. But number 8 is a rational exponent. Now, this word rational is important because this means fraction. So I have a fraction exponent. Okay, if you look at this word, fraction, and then you look at the word right after it, exponent, then that means you're going to have a fraction exponent, whether you start with a fraction exponent or you end with a fraction as an exponent. Now, when you have a fraction as an exponent, you're going to end with a radical sign, all right? If you start with a radical sign, you're going to end with a fraction as an exponent, all right? So an exponent represented with a fraction and represents the nth root. And if you remember, this thing right here is called a square root. It has a 3 in front of it. It's a cube root, but it is a root of something, okay? So the number on the outside lets you know. If there's not a number on the outside, it is always 2, all right? So the first thing that you need to know is that your m, or your top one, in this case m, is your integer exponent. Sorry, I'm spelling that wrong. Integer exponent. And that means it's going to go on the inside, okay? So this one means inside. So inside the root. All right? Now, the n in this case, or the denominator for your exponent, is going to be your root. So it's going to tell you what root you have, and it's going to be on the outside. So this one will always be on the outside, all right? All right, and you can tell we kept our base, and our base went, let me do this in a different color. Our base went in up under our root sign, all right? And then we took our m and put it as our exponent for our base, and then our n became our root. It was telling us what root. It's the nth root. So we have x to the 2/3. We know that we're going to have a root sign, all right? Our base is x, so it's going to go as our base under the root sign. Now this one is the one that goes inside, so it goes in, so that's our exponent. This is our root. It goes out. So we have the cube root of x squared, and that's our answer. All right, so the same rules for integer exponents also apply to rational exponents. So this is our integer and our root. That's our exponents there. This is our exponent in this one, and we have a 1 there, because anytime that you have a number or a variable that stands alone, it's always raised to the first power. So the nth root of a number x. So x is our base, so it becomes our big number. Again, the one on the inside goes on top, so it goes on the top. And the one on the outside goes on the bottom. So you're just flipping them back and forth. That's all you're doing. Now, the other thing that you need to remember is when you have x to the m raised to the 1 over n, that is a power to a power. When we have a power to a power, we're going to multiply them. So I'll have m times 1 over n. Now, remember that whenever you have a whole number, it's over 1, all right? Now, when I'm going to multiply a fraction, I multiply straight across, okay? That's how we multiply a fraction, so m over n. And that's what my exponent would be. I would keep my base. I would take and multiply these two, and that would give me my m over n. Now, it's the same thing if the fraction's on the inside and the whole number's on the outside. This is still over 1, and it's 1 over n times m over 1. I'm still going to multiply straight across, and I end up with m over n. So as you can see, I still end up with m over n, and my base stays as my base. All right? Now let's practice. We've got 4 of these that we can practice, so it will help a little bit. All right, so number 1, our base is x. We know we're going to end in a fraction because we started in the radical sign. All right, so our number for the inside becomes our top. So this is our top. So it's 3, and this is our bottom, and it is 7. So we've got the root. We've got the root of our stuff, and the root of our exponent, and the root with our radical sign. So it's always the root. Number 2, let's do what's in parentheses first. So that 6, I'm going to leave it out there. But I have the base of x. Now, as I said before, this is raised to the first power, so my 1 is going to be on top. Now, when there's not a number on the outside, remember this sign right here is called a square root. And when you square something, it is the number 2. So whenever there's not a number, a 2 is really there. So it would be x to the 1/2. Now we have a power to a power. So we're going to take and multiply these two. So we have 1 over 2 times 6, and it's over 1. So we get 6 over 2, which is simplified to 3. Now we need to keep our base, and that's x. So we have x cubed. All right? Now, 3 and 4, we're going to change to the radical sign. So we're going from a rational exponent to a radical. Okay? We're going to change it. So we know that we're going to have the root sign, all right? Well, our base is going to be 27, so it's going to go in there. Our top is going to go inside, so it's going to be squared, and our bottom is going to be out. So it's cubed. Now you can simplify this if you want, and if you simplify it, it will end up being 9. But if you get the answer, cube root of 27 squared, then I'm good with that. I can see that you know how to do it. All right, same thing with number 4. We have 16 as our base. This is the inside, and this is going to be the outside. So we've got the 4th root of 16 cubed. And that one, again, you can simplify it, and if you do, it's 8, or you could leave it like that just so that I can see you understand. Either one I'm fine with, just so that way I know that you know the process of fixing those right. All right, so take these. That is all of our exponent rules. Practice these, study these. They will help you. You can come back in a couple weeks if you're still having trouble with it and look at it again. Sometimes it helps to just leave it and then come back, and then you will see and you can understand it.